Are you an average American? If so, you throw out 80 pounds of clothing per year. We're all part of a big problem, but we can also be a part of the solution. This fall, along with public speaking, I've been studying environmental issues, and I've been shocked to learn how big of a problem textile waste is. The fashion industry produces a huge amount of clothes each year and throws away a huge amount too. Textile waste is part of a larger challenge that we all want to meet, leaving behind a sustainable society for our children and grandchildren. This year, I also ran for the San Francisco Board of Education. That experience taught me a little about how government works, and it got me in the habit of thinking that if you want to do something, you really should just do it. So let's do something about textile waste here in San Francisco. Let's pass a declaration of policy committing the city to embracing an ambitious idea called circular design. What does that mean? Here's a definition from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. The circular economy is a system where materials never become waste and nature is regenerated through processes like maintenance, reuse, refurbishment, remanufacture, recycling, and composting. It's a big idea. It will be hard to make it happen, but it has to happen. I was shocked at how much textiles commit to the overall waste problem. Of the 100 billion garments produced each year, according to Earth.org, 92 million tons end up in landfills. The UN Environment Program estimates that the fashion industry, the world's second biggest consumer of water, produces almost 3% of all carbon emissions. According to the New York Times, more than half of fabric fibers are synthetic and wind up in landfills that don't decay. These synthetic microfibers also poison the oceans. The causes of this problem are both structural and attitudinal. The structural causes come from a global fashion industry that isn't designed to eliminate or even minimize clothing waste. Most clothing manufacturers use durable, cheap materials like nylon and polyester. Even something as simple as clothing returns clogs our landfills, and according to returns solution provider Optoro, produces millions of metric tons of carbon emissions per year. But textile waste is also an attitudinal problem. For most of human history, people made their own clothes by hand. The idea of having a closet full of shirts of all different colors did not exist unless you were Cleopatra or Marie Antoinette. But then, in 1830, this happened. The sewing machine was invented in 1830 by Bartholomew Theomonier. Every year since we started being able to mass produce clothing, our fashion has been getting faster and cheaper, and that's a huge problem for the environment. The UN Environment Program says the number of times the average person wears a piece of clothing before throwing it out has declined 35% in the last 15 years. Here in California, in 2021, around 1.2 million tons of textiles were disposed of. And even though 95% of textiles are reusable or recyclable, only 15% are currently recycled or reused in the state. A Qantas study estimates that the textile industry's global impact will double by 2030 if we don't make big changes. But the good news is we are making big changes. Last September, California Governor Gavin Newsom passed Senate Bill 707, the Responsible Textile Recovery Act. This bill establishes the country's first extended producer responsibility textile recycling program. That's a framework for producers to reform their entire product lifestyle, including repair, recycling, and reuse of garments and fibers. SB 707 is a great bill. It's a foundation for a sustainable textile industry in our state, but we can go further at the local level. such as beach cleanups. The circular economy is based on three principles driven by design: eliminate waste and pollution, circulate products and materials at their highest value, and regenerate nature. A circular economy initiative could commit all San Francisco businesses to following best practices in clothing manufacture, purchase, waste disposal, minimizing pollution, and using recyclable materials. And our city's entrepreneurial economy and progressive politics makes us an ideal test bed for these ideas. In fact, San Francisco has already committed to achieving a zero waste economy, meaning we aim to divert all of the city's waste from landfills. A circular design initiative would go further by finding ways to embed sustainability directly into the life cycles of our products, buildings, and infrastructure. After all, why put our efforts into diverting waste out of landfills when we can transform our economy so we aren't producing waste in the first place? This idea won't be easy, and it won't be cheap, even just for textiles. The initiative will have to get approved by voters, then by the Board of Supervisors, then by various committees, and finally by the mayor. Only then could the departments of Planning, Environment, and Public Works start actually implementing it. The whole project will surely cost millions, but retooling for sustainability has dramatic benefits. The budget of our Department of Public Works is almost $400 million a year. A circular economy would produce savings that could lower that number. The European Parliament estimates that moving towards a circular economy would increase competitiveness, stimulate innovation, boost economic growth, and create 700,000 jobs in the EU alone by 2030. In other words, this initiative would start by being something smart and economical that our city government could do, for once. Please join me in this effort by signing my change.org petition to put a circular economy ballot initiative up for a vote by 2026. We all want to do a part to build a more sustainable world, and textile waste is just one problem we can tackle right now. Thank you.